abadde wa myaka 3
atunyudde engeri gyafunye amawulire g'okutibwa kw'omwana we.
Nze bankubidde essimu ne baŋŋamba munnaye omwana ali wano babatemye ne ŋŋamba babatemye biki.
Yesterday, the 2nd of April, the unthinkable happened in Kampala. At Ggaba, a man entered into a nursery school, one of the safest places a child can be, where you take your toddler and know that the child is safe. This man walked in and hacked down 4 innocent children to death. 3 boys, 1 girl, whose lives have been ended. We're going to be diving into this video and discussing something that has become a trend, not an incident, because such things are happening over and over and over again in Uganda. In schools, one of the safest places you think you can send your child to. People fear to leave their kids home with maids, so they opt to take kids to daycare. And in the daycare, this is what is happening. Let's dive into the video and discuss. Welcome. Hello and welcome to Afrowest Connect. As usual, my name is Lobby, your host on this channel. We have a lot of stories on this channel, things that will be popping, things that will be coming. Please subscribe, like, and share. Such messages need to be passed on and on and on and on so it reaches the people that are concerned. Let's continue with the video. Yesterday, the 2nd of April, at Ggaba Early Childhood Development Program, a man walked in, a man that has been identified as Okello Christopher Onyu, and got into the class and ended the life of 4 little toddlers. Now, what's my take on this? 1, much as maids are very, very unsafe recently, we've been seeing what other maids have been doing, from ending the lives of children, from torturing children, from all that. And then mothers have opted to, taking children to daycare. But now at the daycare, also these things are happening. In the recent times in Uganda, a lot of incidents have occurred in schools more than home. There are schools being banned. According to the traffic report, if you read the traffic report of 2025, over 57 schools got banned. And in these 57 schools, 20 children lost their lives. And if you go on, the deaths in Soroti, where a child in primary 7, I remember Anita Mung talking about it. In Soroti, a child going to school was hacked down to death. And if you remember as well, in another school, a toddler was also killed. And now we are seeing the death of 4 kids. And we remember the death of the UCU student as well. And then the UCU teacher as well. And then there are just too many things happening with schools to the extent that we question how safe are schools for our pupils, mostly the little ones. How would a person get into a school where toddlers are and go into the classroom and access the classroom? There needs to be further investigation on that. And then we find out the motive as to why he did it. Because I am a parent. You're watching me, you're probably a parent. If you're not a parent, you will be. And you don't want to send your child to school and pay huge money and just end up to being told such a thing. You've put your child somewhere, you hope the child is safe, only to be called and told that your child is normal. How reckless is that from the school? And how reckless is that from the government? These are the things why we say we need change. Whenever we make such issues political, people say everything you're saying, Museveni, Museveni. But then, come on. You are the people supposed to set, you're supposed to set standards. You're supposed to set such things. You're supposed to set a certain way schools should be run. Schools should be, guarded, protected. Where toddlers are should be one of the most protected places on the planet. Some of us have gotten lucky and traveled, and we've seen how it's done. When you go to other countries that value human life, mostly children, where children's rights come first, because a child cannot fight back. A child cannot fight back. A child cannot protect him or herself. It's a toddler. Listen to the ages of these children. 2 years, 3 years. 2 years. This is a child. This is a human being of 24 months. And you let a man come in, get into the classroom with machete and cut them, end their lives. And we have lawyers in Uganda who are just seated there scratching their tummies and arguing useless cases in court, guarding chicken thieves and mobile money thieves and all that. And we have such things, and you cannot come together and, sue the government or Ministry of Education, because this is negligence, not only for the school. It's not only Ggaba Early Childhood Development Program that is supposed to be blamed. This is the entire Ministry of Education supposed to be blamed, because the death of children have become too much. When is it going to end? Who is going to address it? Who is going to come out and talk about it? I'm a parent. If one day this happens to my child in school, how am I going to feel? How are you going to feel? Fide Bongole sang a song and said, today is me, tomorrow is you. This can happen to your child's school tomorrow. And when we're talking about it, you're supposed to share such messages. This is beyond entertainment. This is beyond political rumor. This is beyond commentary. This is caring. This is the government's responsibility. A child is a government's responsibility more than a parent's. That's why in reasonable countries, government provides for the child to go to school. Government provides for the child to go to daycare. Government initiates almost everything. And then there are security measures. There are protective measures. Before you enter into a school, you need to identify yourself. Step 1. Offices are put outside the school area where kids are. You can access the offices, but to access the school, you must go through the offices. That's what I've seen in other countries. You walk in properly, but then you go into the office, and then from the office, you're supposed to identify yourself, and then you're allowed inside the school. And then when you go inside the school, you still need a password to enter into the class. I know the mechanisms could be expensive. We are a developing country, but then that password could be simply the teacher standing in front of the door for you to identify yourself before you come in. If he's enrolling, what is he doing in class of toddlers of ages 2 and that? I don't know. It is sad. It is reckless. It is shameful. It is depressing. Anyway, I'm sending this message to the government, anybody who can share it. If you watch this video and you know anybody who works in the government, mostly the MPs, I have a few friends I'll be sharing with them as well, who are members of parliament. 1, why don't they table up a law in parliament that bars nursery and primary schools from having boarding sections? I don't see why you should take your little child of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, 7 years, up to the age of 15. I mean, actually below 12, let's say. Why would you take a child below 12 to stay away from you with strangers where you don't know how they're growing up? You don't know how they're being raised. You don't know what they ate today. All you're relying on is the trust you have in the school. But then look what is happening in schools in the recent times. Because I don't know what you're sending a 5-year-old in school, to go and sleep in school for months. And you're the parent, you're at home. Yeah, you will say we are very busy looking for money, the work is tight, I'm a single parent and all that. There are other mechanisms you can find. Because what is happening to your child, you don't know. This is why we are seeing generation where children are becoming something else. We are seeing the rate of LGBTQ growing up in an African country like the Pearl of Africa. Why? Because where you've sent your child at an early age, you don't know what is happening to them. You don't know the people around them. Before you know it, your child no longer wants a girlfriend, wants a boyfriend. Your son no longer wants a girlfriend. Your daughter no longer wants a boyfriend. And that is it. This is what is happening. Worst scenario, your child never comes back. You've seen issues of a child being reported as that he's committed suicide in school. I'm so sorry to say these words should not be coming out of my mouth. We've seen it and we don't know what that was about, but we don't know where the investigation has ended, but that's it. It's gone. And then a few weeks later, the teacher is also no more from the same school. Do you guys think we're stupid or what? How about there comes up a law that primary and nursery should only have day schools? And secondly, if you see the number of children that have been involved in accidents around schools, according to the traffic report of 2025, over 2 to 5 children are hit by a speeding car near school every day. The reports are there. You can read it. What happened to having school zones? What happened to respecting it? All these MPs, all these ministers, you travel. You know how things are done in other countries. Why not borrow such beautiful things and bring them home? Create up laws that school areas within this time, the hours school children are getting into class must be school zoned. Speed must be limited. The hours children are getting out of class, speed must be limited. You will save children's lives. Anyway, I end this video here by saying thank you so much. Like, subscribe, share. We have a lot of videos coming up on this channel, the Afrowest. My name is Lobby. Thank you, and bless you. And please subscribe and comment. Give me your thoughts and share this video with whoever is concerned. Thank you so much and bless. I see you in the next one.